All right, guys, we're talking about support and resistance. So what does everyone know about it? Is anyone going to type it or what's up? Right. The price will stop and reverse at a certain level. Okay. So we're saying where the price reverses. What else? All right, since nobody's typing anything. So let's talk about the generic terms that everyone thinks of support and resistance. It is basically a roof or ceiling or somewhere the area on the chart where we have buyers and sellers stepping in, or something where the price reverses. So all these terms are true for support and resistance, but the main thing is to find a level that's relevant to you when you're trading. Because if you point out every support and resistance level, it's just going to be a mess on your screen. So I'm on the Euro USD daily here. Let's start from this. That's support and resistance. That's support and resistance. That's support and resistance. That is support and resistance. This is support and resistance. Right here, this is support and resistance. Even this tiny one is support and resistance. So you see, if we keep going like this, we have a mess all over our screen. We need to figure out what's relevant for us. So first things first, support and resistance is never just one line like this. Never. One thing I want you guys to forget right now, support and resistance is never going to be a one straight line, just one price point. It never works like that. Support and resistance is always going to be an area. And we have to find that area. 2 pips, 5 pips, 10 pips, whatever it's going to be, we find that out when we plot support and resistance, but it is always going to be an area. It's never just one price point like this. Now, when let's say we're trading this on the daily Euro USD here, and we want to plot our support and resistance here. One support and resistance we can clearly see is, sorry about that. This right here is a support and resistance level. And that area is your support and resistance. This whole area. But you see, if I plot this and I'm trying to trade, it's not relevant to me because price is up here. Price has already left this area. Price is up there. So this support and resistance doesn't do anything for me. So I need to look for a support and resistance level near the present market. But now since we're here, we need to look for support and resistance here. From the looks of it, this looks like support and resistance. And if we take the tail in, it would be this. Now we check that. We see here, it is being respected in the past if you go back. All these levels here have been respecting this support and resistance. Why am I not able to drag this? Okay, so far everyone understands support and resistance is going to be a level. We have to find for the area that is relevant to us based on the current price. And everyone understand it's never going to be just one price. It's never just one fixed price point. It never works like that. That's the biggest mistake everybody makes. What people do is, look at this. I'll show you right now. Let's say that's your support and resistance that you have. You see these candles coming down. This is a very slight exhaustion. This right here. And at this point, you thinking that, oh, it's at resistance, it's either going to bounce back up or go down. The candle opens. Look at this wick. It goes down. At that point, you start buying, you start selling that, oh, it just broke resistance. And then what happens to your sell order there? This is what happens to your sell order. It goes against you. 118 pips. There's no way you could have covered that with a stop loss. And if you have a stop loss that big, you might as well just go home and not trade. So this is what I mean, why it's always going to be an area which you have to be careful with. Now, we've established two things. It's an area. We have to be near the present market, so the level is relevant to us. Now, how to spot the level? Does anyone know how do we spot it? Like on this chart, if I ask you guys to draw support and resistance, where would you draw it? You guys can type out a price range right here. Like just type out a price range and we'll see. Around what price you think the support and resistance should be? All right, lowest saying 11, which is, are you saying somewhere around here low? A little below that? All right. Yeah, it is like a zone. Bottom of the wick. Okay, lowest thing, bottom of the wick. Taylor is saying 1620. 1620 is here. So Taylor is saying this is support and resistance to the bottom of the body. So you guys are saying this level is support and resistance. That is correct based on the two things that we just established, that it has to be near a price and it has to be a zone. If you're confused about, or should I draw it at the body or should I draw it at the wick? For that, to confirm your support and resistance level is correct, we're going to establish that right now. First thing, you have to look at, since in Forex we don't have volume like stocks, so we have to consider the strength of these candles. We have to look at the power of the candles. Now, this green candle right here, in comparison with this red candle, which one would you tell me is stronger, the red or green? No, I'm not asking bull or bear. I'm just asking which candle has more power to move the market. Zach saying red, low, and everyone else seems to say green. Zach, it's green. If we only consider these two candles, the green candle moved the market 107 pips. The red candle only moved it 73 pips. So with these two candles, we see the green candle is very powerful. Let me clear this all out for you. So now we know the price is here. We're looking to draw our support and resistance. Market's been going up here. Let's pretend we haven't seen this market yet. Let's pretend the price is over here. Right here on this green candle. That's our market right now. where would your support and resistance be now? If I ask you to draw support and resistance here, what level would you say it would be? Or zone, basically. And from this, I'll show you how to be sure your support and resistance zone is correct, how to draw it properly, and then you follow it till the prices are on that level. So in this market right here, the price is up here at this green candle. Where do you think your support and resistance zone or level should be? Low is saying bottom of body to bottom of wick on last red candle. So low is saying this level right here. Let's draw it. Is that what you're saying, Lo? All right. Anybody else says anything? All right. When the price is here, we're currently focusing on this candle. That's the last candle that we can see. We're not considering this big green candle. When the price is here, so this level is correct. There's only going to be a little bit adjustment to this. I'll show that right now. Low, you're 90% correct with that one, but it's going to be here. That's your first. And that's your tail. So that's your support and resistance. Now we want to check if it's correct or we're just saying shit for the. So on the right side, the market doesn't exist yet. So here, that's your number one. It's being respected. Look at a big tail. The top level of it is respecting. But you see, if you only drew one line, this green candle broke it, and you would have bought there because you would have thought, okay, it broke my support. But if you didn't have that zone, if you didn't have this zone, you would be smart enough not to make the mistake of thinking that it already broke a resistance and you wouldn't buy it. Because look what the next candle did. It came right back. So people who would consider just only the bottom line as their support and resistance, those are the people that get stopped all the time. And then they think, oh, market keeps going against me. Because it's a zone. And a simple rule I like to follow, in this case, this is a resistance, right? Price is respecting and staying below it. So once you want to sell as close as possible to resistance. If you want to buy as close as possible to support. This way, your drawdown is really less. Now think about this. If you had this zone mapped out here, and you know it just broke the first line, but doesn't mean it broke my resistance. It's still under the second line. And you see a big tail on top. That is basically an exhaustion. So you know that there's major force from the upside for it to come down. So you could have easily sold it here and taken 285 pips. This is based just on support and resistance. If your support and resistance was correct, you didn't do anything else here. You just sold it based on that, and you just got 280 pips. Yeah, this is a daily. It's a pretty long trade. But look at that. It's 8 candles, or maybe 9. In 9 days, you just got almost 300 pips from a trade. How is that any bad? You could have a mini going, and on the side, you see you have $300 eventually. This is just an example, though. So this is why we always need a zone. And now, we have to test if what we do is correct. So that's our first check. This is the second. It's respecting, just touching the bottom line, stops right there. This is the third one. Look at that. Major candle was coming, but it touched the top line and stopped right there. That's your 3 tests right there. Here, it broke once, but then look at here. Again, now it's acting as a support. Price came down. 3 candles tried to break the top line. but we're respecting the bottom line. It goes right back up. Respecting here again. That's enough for me. I don't really like to scroll that much back because unless you're a monthly or a yearly trader, all this doesn't matter to you. What you see on your screen is what should matter to you because you're trying to get results right now. So that's our first level correct. Now, the price is here. This is our support and resistance. So let me just clear this up a little bit so nobody gets confused. So this was our support and resistance at this one. Now the market moves ahead, and then you see this big green candle. Now, do you think their support and resistance should move, or do you think this level is still okay? Taylor says it should move. What's everyone else saying? We're just looking at this big green candle now. Let me move that there too, so you guys are not confused. From the last candle, now we see this one. Now we see this candle. Should our support and resistance move or not? All right, Taylor says it should move. Everyone else is saying it's okay for now. Now let me tell you why it should move. This support and resistance is still relevant because it's on the daily, it's fairly close to the price. But you need to establish a new level now. Why? Because once this level broke, look at this green candle. Does it look stronger than every other candle nearby? Would you agree this green candle looks stronger? This one right here, this big green candle. Do you agree this looks way stronger? So we know this was some major support and resistance that this green candle stopped. It couldn't break it one time. Look at it. It perfectly respected the top. But then a new candle opened and that finally broke it. And then this level held for almost a week. Sorry. Right here. And this level held for almost a week. So we see this was a major candle that broke. Now look at all these other candles, all this red here, green here, this, and then you see this big green candle pop up. Now would you tell me this green candle is stronger than all of these candles? Do you think it's stronger? The one that I have my arrow on, the current candle we're looking at. Would you say this is stronger than every other candle? Taylor says yes. Anyone else? Lo, are you confused or are you agreeing? Okay, Lo is not sure. Anyone else? Christina, you want me to kick you out of the meeting? Right, so let's get back to it. So we see this candle is way stronger than the other candles. So we know it broke some major level right here. So now let's try to draw our support and resistance. We still don't know yet if it is going to be our new support and resistance level or not. But since we see a big candle going up, we're like, it might have broken something major. So we try to map it out. So let's try to draw a line. It's this candle we're working with. So put one here. And since the candle has to go through both the levels, or at least one line and the other should just touch on the other line, so we don't know yet where the price is going. So let's just put it here, and let's put other line. Here for now. We're not sure, but we're going to confirm this. Now let's move it ahead. Now we see the price has been staying up. After this candle, this opens, it goes further up. And then we see this red candle, and then you see another green candle go up. So now that you've seen this information that, okay, after this candle, the price is staying up, and you see this tail on at the bottom of this red candle, now you can adjust your support and resistance to be sure that it's correct. Now, let me clear this out. So this was the candle we were looking at. This right here. And after this, we see the price is staying. The price is holding up, sorry. So let's adjust our lines now. Let's draw one here. And with the tail, that's two. Now, let's take this one. Now let's check it. Holding as support here. Holding as support here. Holding as resistance here. Holding as support here. Holding as support here. So it looks pretty okay for now. So as your price moves, you can adjust that. Any questions for now? Else we'll move ahead and I'll show you what 2-3 things I like to check before I like to confirm my support and resistance with. No one's saying anything? Okay, so this is something you guys can write down. Few things that we want to check when drawing our support and resistance. One, we only need a major level. So we need a big candle to be breaking that. A major candle, we need to be breaking that. Another thing, whenever you see an area like this, let me show you. An area like this, where you can everyone still hear me? All right. So first criteria I like to check, you need to see a big candle breaks through the level. Second thing, whenever you see an area like this where a candle closed and the next candle opened from there, you see the price is just right there. So whenever you see an area like this, it means nothing, but you just want to mark it or just keep it under your consideration because this might act as something significant. Why? Because look at this. Same here. Look, it's the same thing. It opened and it went up from there. So it's literally the open of this candle and the close of this candle is at the same level. Like all these candles don't matter because this red and this or this green and that, they don't matter. But this, do you understand what I mean by this area? Like what I'm trying to show, do you guys understand that? So whenever you guys see an area like this, just keep it under consideration that it might mean something. It might mean something. And from that, look here. Our first line is passing through that level. It's the same thing from those candles. Right now, your support and resistance level has changed to this, in case anybody's wondering. That's your actual support and resistance right now. Not these bottom ones. So just keep this area under consideration. It might mean something. And so first thing, you want to check a big candle is breaking through some level, and then you want to map out your support and resistance around that, based on that. Because look at this big candle broke through this. This price was held. There was a major pull from the bottom, but that's your current support and resistance on EU. Because look at that again. A big candle broke from both the lines, and the rest, but it has been held in now. So we need major force from here for it to go down. And one more thing I like to check. Well, I mentioned that before everything else, that it's always a zone. Always. Just look at that. If you only have the top line, you have pressure from top. You have pressure from the top. If your top line broke here, let me make it a bit bigger so everyone can see. You see your top line was broken by this red candle. If you only had one line, you would have sold there because there's pressure from top and it's a red candle. I would sell for that. But look what happens. It goes down and back up because there was still support and resistance level because it's a zone. You have to wait to confirm that. We're gonna get into taking trades later, but Zach is asking, with support and resistance for long trades, do you stay in them or do you take profit just before next level of resistance and once it breaks, it re-enter or hedge it for long trades? I don't take my trades just based on support and resistance. Support and resistance is very important. It's like a lot of my trading revolves around this, but entering and exiting trades has to do more with price action. That's a whole different topic. We're only focusing on support and resistance right now. So anybody has any questions related to support and resistance? Or what I'm saying is clear? Meeting's gonna end in 5 minutes, guys. Come on. Questions, let it come in. Wormhole is saying very clear. So the three things I like to check, you guys, if you guys want, write it down. It has to be broken by a big candle. It has to be a zone. Sorry, guys. It has to be a zone. It has to be broken by a big candle. And you should always check at least something from the back that's being respected. These are the three things I like to check. And I only like to keep major support and resistance on my screen. I don't bother with multiple things, because look at this. I'll give you an example why I don't bother with multiple things. This right here, price reversed, is support and resistance, but it's insignificant. Why? Because look at this, price is just going up and down from it. No respect, whatever, like look at this. Price is just going up and down. So once you map out a major level, that's what's being respected. Wormhole is saying, what if the first two conditions are met, but the last condition isn't? It'll always be met, always. If you draw your support and resistance properly, it will always be met. Very rarely you might think it's not being broken by a major candle, but if you really dig into the past, I'm sure you'll see that somewhere. Or unless the price is just on newer highs or newer lows, then obviously you don't have history, then you have to trust your analysis. But other than that, all the conditions will be met. It will be a zone always. There will be a big candle going through that, because that a big candle means that is your major support and resistance level. That's what it means. If just a tiny candle like this went through it, that's clearly not major. I wouldn't bother with that. I don't need it on my screen, because only major levels are going to contain the price. Unless you're just scalping on 15-minute chart, none of this applies to you. None of this. And meeting's about to end. If there's any questions, guys, you gotta be quick. We have 2 minutes left. Any questions? Is everything clear? Zach is saying if we're gonna upload it. Yeah, Zach, I'm recording it. I'll upload it on our Facebook page. Any other questions, guys? I had one more thing I wanted to mention. It's not coming to me. I can't remember. I was about to mention one more thing, but I can't remember now. That's awesome, man. All right, I guess then we can conclude this webinar. I hope support and resistance is clear to everyone now. And Lois saying any way to determine which previous levels will make a good profit target. Lo, that clearly depends on the momentum. I do like to keep that in, like if the previous level was a major one and it held a lot of times, I do like to keep that as my target, because from my experience, 90% of the time that holds up again. Because always remember, your previous support may act as resistance, and your resistance may act as support. So once you have a major level, you should always keep it in mind that, okay, it is approaching one of my previous levels. So maybe that should be my first target profit. At that point, you can take some profits and let half of the trade running. I hope that clears everything. Meeting's ending, so I'll see you guys in the Telegram group. Have a good day, everyone.